Barrel rolls is the reporter thrown into the secretive world of the Forex Super Model, where nothing is as it seems. Beware the techno-monk, and steer clear of Professor Code and his two assistants. Give the senior trader a wide berth, and don't expect any sense from the risk manager.
Good morning, I'm Professor Code and this is the Forex Super Model daily briefing for Tuesday the 23rd of the 2nd 2021. The time is just coming up to 0455 GMT, Asian session coming to a close, European session just about firing up, and our lunch time is the North American US session. Right, so let's make a start then. So yesterday, Monday the 22nd, we had a negative unopposed driver in the dollar at minus 115. No backdoor flows then, and basically the opposing positive flows were going into the pound at plus 48, the euro at plus 39, and the yen at plus 29. Activity at plus or minus 115. Intra-week then, so this is from Monday, yesterday open to about 15 minutes ago. Again, we've got a negative unopposed driver in the dollar, minus 137. No backdoor flows, and they're going fairly evenly into the euro at plus 59, pound at plus 58, and the yen is plus 20, the positive rock. Activity plus or minus 137. And finally we've got intraday, which is basically what's happened so far in the Asian session. And we've again got a negative unopposed driver in the dollar at minus 20. No backdoor flows, and they're predominantly going into the pound at plus 10, euro plus 6, and the yen at plus 4. Activity plus or minus 20. What's going to knock this about then? Right. Monday, which was yesterday, we had strong German data. So if you look at our weekly market data cycle video, you'll see that the German data is starting to come up, and this reinforces that view. Very late on Monday, we had New Zealand retail sales, which came in soft. And we said there might be some creaks appearing in the New Zealand dollar, and we've got the start of it. Today we've got GBP claimant and unemployment counts. As I say, bear in mind that we've got the furlough scheme. The Fed Chair Powell testifies today, later on, and the Bank of Canada Governor is due to give a speech. On Wednesday, interestingly, we've got New Zealand NZD rates decision, so that boxes us in. Let's rub this off and have a look what's been going on in terms of the complex flows and the wider market. So right, what have we got? We've got, and this is in order of the how to organise your watch lists. Worth looking up the video. We've got a strong euro, except against the CAD. Okay, in the yen, we've got it's weak. Well, it's pretty mixed, but it's weak except against the dollar, the AUD, the NZD, and the Swiss franc is marginal. So pretty mixed on the yen. The pound is strong, except against the CAD, and against the EUR, it's marginal. Right, the Swiss franc is strong, except against dollar, euro, pound, CAD, so that's basically mixed. The CAD is basically strong across the board, so that's relatively straightforward. The AUD, Australian dollar, is strong, except against the CAD, and the Swiss franc is marginal. The NZD is weak across the board, and the dollar is weak except against the NZD. So that tells you a little bit. Right, so what does that tell us? Basically, if you look at the extremes, we've got CAD strength across the seven pairs. So CAD's coming up, it's bounced. Maybe they're catching up with the oil market. Who knows exactly? The NZD has taken a turn for the worse significantly. Sold off in all the 7 pairs. And the dollar is weak except against the NZD, so that shows you just how weak the NZD is. So right, let's just get rid of that, and let's look at other asset classes quickly before we sum it all up. Now our trades, it was a pretty wild and volatile session yesterday, but we just kept with it, and we were swinging around like a mad supermarket trolley, but at the end of it we're about 220 to 40 points up overall, including the losses we've absorbed in the pound New Zealand. Right, so what have we got? Dollar index. Dollar index, basically that's the dollar index for on the daily. It looks like that. Basically dollar quite low. It's at a double bottom, but above the recent absolute lows. Gold. The gold is a relatively interesting one. Gold has bounced, and if you remember, we said gold normally likes a weak dollar, but the argument has been that rising US yields have choked it off, and now we're seeing we've got the weak dollar, but we've still got strong yields. So the general consensus out there among the analysts, and they've got to give a reason, is we've got physical buying for gold now coming in and pumping it up. Who knows? Sounds reasonable. Oil then. Oil came off and is now up again. So everything's great in the oil market again. Let's just get rid of this. Now on the equities front, we've got a slight divergence. We've got Wall Street, which was basically up and has come off. And Wall Street has come up a bit, but it's lagging. The tech and the S&P Wall Street has actually recovered, and it's the tech and the S&P that are lagging, right? So you've got Wall Street outperforming the tech and the S&P at the moment, right? Which is interesting. The US 10-year basically going south and has had a slight pop. So this is the price. So yields are rising, but they've come up a little bit towards the end. And copper has been on a tear basically. So it had a dirge, caught up with equities. It's had a pump. It's had another pump, and it's now on its 3rd pump. So copper is liking whatever's going on. Right, so that's that. Let's just sum up then. What do we think is going to happen? Well, if you remember that we thought it looked all very risk on at this time yesterday, and we had the commodity currencies being strong and so on, and then we had this sort of volatile trading yesterday. Equities sold off. I think that was just the market players shaking out all the weak players, and now we're sort of resuming. We've got this. The big takeaway is the unopposed negative driver on the dollar. The dollar's very weak. The New Zealand dollar is the New Zealand dollar as a complex is the second highest. It's operating at about 65% above the model floor. Only the Swiss franc is higher. The New Zealand dollar has plenty of elbow room to drop off a cliff. So it's likely that the New Zealand dollar, and it's boxed in by this, it's just had its first taste of weak data in the what was the data? I've forgotten it now. What was it? It was retail sales. So retail sales quite important for New Zealand, but tourism is as well, and tourism is off the menu for a while. So we've got New Zealand dollar likely to come off, and we've got dollar weakness. So New Zealand dollar against the dollar is not likely to be that clever, but I think the New Zealand dollar has plenty of elbow room on the downside, and the most likely place to be is where we are at the moment is pound New Zealand. We think that is going to be the scenario. So a long pound New Zealand trade seems to make sense. Hope that was useful. Another economics video coming out this week. Watch out for that. If not, see you for the daily briefing tomorrow. Thank you very much.